Hello, my friends. Look at me, looking like the guy from E.T. Apologies. I mean, you would have seen the what do you call it? The post, but I do apologize for my lateness. Basically, life is kicking my ass. So you all know about my eye problem, that one. Yeah, I'm looking at myself in the thing. Eyes are blood red today, which is just awesome. That's mostly because I had to put all this gel in it, and it irritates it. But how bad is that? I don't know if you had an eye problem before, but the solution to an eye problem is to irritate it with lubricant, which doesn't make any sense. But I've also managed to hurt my back as well. I don't even know what happened. I'm just getting old. And as I'm finding out, this is just what goes down. I literally got out of the shower the other day, and somehow, I can't even tell you, but I basically trapped a nerve in my back, which is absolutely ridiculous. And it's the last kind of thing that I need. But it's 2020, right? It's 2020. But essentially, what that meant was that when did I do that? Thursday, I think it was Thursday. And yeah, it just it just put me so behind because I had to struggle. I haven't been to the gym now for 4 days, whatever it is. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's just answer some questions. You have to take the ups with the downs. Ha ha, funny. I think just as I'm ranting away, I think the thing for me is that I'll never, when I do a video for What Culture on my channel or whatever, I'm not going to stand there and act in pain. So some people hear this stuff and go, well, man, it's clearly not true because I saw that you did a video. It's like, yeah, if I was on the news and I had some disease, I wouldn't go, hello, Simon on the news. I have, I don't know, tuberculosis. I don't want to know about your tuberculosis. So yeah, I don't know why. It's just a couple of things that people said to me, and I was like, dude, man, you can't judge people based on what you see on the internet. That's all a facade anyway. Anyway, let's not worry about that. I am genuinely apologetic. I never want to miss this stuff. You guys pay me to do it, and therefore I have to do it. But hopefully you agree with the whole better late than never, but better never late. And 9 times out of 10, we're quite on the ball with these things. Anyway, I'm ranting. Let's do some questions. My man James. Hope all went well with the appointment, Mr. Miller. That's the eye thing. I mean, they don't know what's going on. I had my appointment on Thursday, Friday, which was hilarious because then I had my bad back as well. And they were just like, who is this guy? Who is this mess of a human? My eyes are just super dry and they don't know why. The gel should be stopping. That's why they're blood red today as well. They're just getting really, really dry. They'll find the cause at some point, I'm sure. But in the meantime, I'm just like, what do you call it? A case study, which I always wanted to be. How do you get into creative mode when dealing with life stuff? Interesting, kind of what we were just talking about, whether physical or otherwise. It must be hard to get the comedic juices flowing. Personally, I find having a regular schedule to do stuff, even if you don't feel like it, helps. I know you've said similar in the past. I find this fine for admin-heavy stuff, but creativity can be a bit trickier. Yeah, man. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It can be really difficult, and I don't know whether you saw the video I put up yesterday, but nobody judges themselves harder than me. Nobody. I really, really want to do a good job. So in terms of the comedy, it's really difficult comedy because it's so subjective, right? And what I think is funny, some people may not do. So really, when I feel like, well, I would say, you may disagree. So, for example, the SmackDown ups and downs that went up on Saturday, I don't think particularly was a good episode. But that's because I was stood there in so much pain with my back. Your brain does funny things. It basically goes into priority mode. And in that moment, the brain was like, right, my priority is to stop feeling like this. So I'm not really going to give you any of your, to use your phrase, comedic juices. And I think you just have to accept it sometimes. I did a video after that, which, oh man, because I'm so behind with my What Culture stuff as well for everything we've talked about. And it's a really big project. I was like, man, I'd much rather be tackling this when I felt good. But I just shrugged my shoulders and I said, it is what it is. This is where I'm at. I'm just going to get it done, really. And that's a rarity with me. But sometimes, like you said, life gets in the way. And you realize that your creative mode, for me, creativity comes from positivity and negative to a certain degree, but not like sadness, like frustration, anger, those kind of things. And when you're in pain, those two kind of switch off, and you kind of start focusing on, just wanting to not feel like death. So yeah, it kind of you just have to put it to the side for one day. But it's a real struggle for me because, I never want to do anything, but I don't mind if people, of course I mind, but I'm not overly bothered if someone doesn't think it was good what I put out there, as long as I know that I did as much as I possibly could, if that makes sense. It's like Ric Flair. You ever heard Ric Flair in an interview? Every other word. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Like, yes, Ric Flair. You're Ric Flair. Anything you say, we're just going to pretend we understand. What wrestling moves did you illegally try at home as a kid? Illegally, like the police were going to come. For me, it was getting vertically suplexed onto the sofa by my older brother, pedigreeing onto a bed, and clumsily enhanced people's elbows. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you do, do not say will later rely on court, etc. Well, the worst one I ever did is when I was playing football with my friends, which we did every night, and my good friend Luke, who I'm still friends with to this day, we thought it'd be a really good idea to do a choke slam, because we used to play in like 2v2v2v2. And yeah, so we scored a goal, and he gave me a choke slam right onto that grass, and it winded me. And then we were both, that was the stupidest thing we'd ever done. Otherwise, I think putting my girlfriend of many years ago, I don't even talk to her anymore. I put her in the Walls of Jericho, not properly, but we were just like mucking around, and I put it on. She didn't appreciate it. That's probably why we broke up. My man David said, "Hey Simon, hope you are well. I've recently been enjoying Danhausen. He's also interviewed AEW stars and recently Austin Creed. Have you seen much of him, and what promotion would you like to see him in?" I know of him from afar. I saw the dance thing he did the other day with Marco Stunt that pissed everybody off. I like him because he's different, and I like him because he gets people talking. And to me, that's such a hard thing to do in 2020. I can't comment on him more than that because I haven't seen more. But I'd love to see. I think he'd probably suit AEW more than WWE if I understand his character, to the creative side. And I think I probably won't get around to seeing him before that. But look, man, he's creating some kind of a storm because, again, his name is out there. So fingers crossed he does get signed. And if he does, great, awesome. And if he doesn't, I think sometimes there's too much, like Ricochet at the moment in WWE. I was like, oh, Ricochet. But, he's done nothing he's done. And he tweeted out the other day that he's, living the dream. So you're like, good for you, Ricochet, man. That's all that matters. My man Ryan says, "Ahoy, you bald Mother Hubbard. I hope by the time you read this, you have 2 fully functioning eyeballs." I don't. Or you have replaced the dodgy one with a bionic one, which give you night vision like Randy Orton. I'll take it. I did say to my girlfriend the other day, if it does go awry, I think I'll be all right with the eye patch. It's kind of cool, right? You just got to embrace it. I'm kidding. That would be so hard to ever comprehend. I don't have a question, just saying thanks for all the content and hope you are keeping a good mental state during these times. Good day and have an above average weekend. P.S. Here's a hedgehog. You're a good guy, Ryan. Thank you very much. I do like hedgehogs, not Sonic. Screw that guy. I was a Nintendo kid, so Mario all the way. Dan says, a gym update. I lost a few pounds and now I'm trying to lift more weight to try and up my game. Good for you, dude. I've changed my mind. I was going to try and put on some size. I've now decided that I need to, go the other way. So I'm actually going to start dropping calories today, which sucks, but hey, you got to do it. My man Crouton says, I hope this isn't an offensive question to ask. Imagine you said something like, but fuck your mum. Like, well, dude, you were correct. It was offensive. He doesn't say that. Back when your shoulder collarbone was injured in your match, you had made some comments that your opponent had injured you on purpose as a kind of a way to show you he didn't think you had earned your spot or paid your dues and that you were coasting on YouTube notoriety. And so he had injured you as a way to get back at you for this. And you later made comments that you were looking forward to giving him his comeuppance. I have to ask now that we are well and are removed from that event, was that a work? I hope that's not respectful or disappointing for me to ask, but I'm genuinely curious if it was the case, because I entirely bought into the idea that the guy was an indie jerk who would hurt you intentionally because he was upset that you had some shine as a new guy. I drew parallels from the legendary Joshi fight shoot fight of Act Yasukawa. I don't know this guy. Act Yasukawa versus Yoshiko. So I'll look that up. I like stuff like that. So I fully believe somebody would hurt you in fear their sport was being subverted. Again, I hope this wasn't offensive. Nah, dude, not at all. No, I mean it was a work to tie into a rematch which never actually came. Although I will say that he didn't do it on purpose, but I did think that not him. I'm trying to think to say this without, because I don't want to. I'm not putting this on him. I want to give you the truth, basically. I do think that when I first started wrestling, there was a contingent of people that did not like the fact. Because they didn't know that I'd done the training, even though I'd made it abundantly clear that I had. They just thought this guy is getting all these opportunities, which was true to a certain extent, because he has somewhat of a following on YouTube with What Culture. And yeah, I did. Like, I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Are a lot of my bookings when people say, "Oh, Miller, we want," yes, but that's fine. That's cool. Whatever. Take your opportunities is the way I've always said. So while that was a work, I think it was based in a reality of a bigger picture. I'm going to be Ric Flair again. Does that make sense? Because there absolutely were. I won't reveal them to, just be nice. But I did have some conversations with some people who, they just didn't want to give me anything in matches. They were like, why should I do that? Which is a shame. But it's not unique to me. I mean, that's pro wrestling. How many times have you heard that story? And ultimately, this is the good thing about getting into wrestling when you're old like I am. And you have accepted who you are as a person. We've talked about that before. I knew what it was. It was nothing to do with me. They were, like you said, they were worried that I was going to push them to one side, which is never going to be my goal. My goal is to benefit myself, not worry about anybody else. So it didn't really get to me on a personal level because I got it. I was like, I see what you're doing. You're just worried. You're paranoid because you're a wrestler and wrestling is based on lies. So no, in terms of that particular event, it was meant to be a story with a rematch that we never got round to. I was actually against the idea, if I'm honest. I didn't want to do it. But again, you pay me, I'll do the job. That's what the guy that ran the company wanted to do. But yeah, it all fell apart. But it was, don't get me wrong. There were people that were not pleased. Although it's only fair to say that there were people who were very happy to work with me, were over the moon and wanted to help me out. And I won't name them either, just for parity. But those guys I won't be able to thank till the cows come home, because they went out of their way. They understood that if they made me look good, they look good, and they did. One guy especially that I probably should name, but again, I don't want to start not saying and saying. He got all the plaudits in the world for carrying me, which he did 100% for a good match. And it just made him, it increased his stock. So, no, I don't mind you asking questions like that. If I don't want to answer, I'll just say I don't want to answer. But no. So there is truth in that, but not in that particular event. So I think, again, we took stuff from what was going on and we just applied it there. But didn't even happen anyway, so it doesn't matter. Quick update on me. I took your advice and was very strict on my diet and made sure to walk my 20,000 steps a day through a combination of walking around Raleigh and biking through the city. I've kept my calories to an exact 1,443, and you've got your macros there, which is good. And I would take vitamins daily to ensure I was getting all my necessary and macro and micronutrients. Good. I ate once a day in a 2-hour window and drank a combination of 4 litres of water, 3 ounces of iced coffee, and 2 litres of Gatorade Zero. I like this, dude. I tell you, man, it sucks, but you start getting that anal with it and things work. After all of this strict regimen, I'm proud to say since March, I've gone from 378 to 232 pounds. That is insane weight drop. I still have another 13 pounds to go to hit my goal, but it's within distance. One nagging problem I've had is a few of my friends have made remarks that have made me feel bad about my progress. Always, right? Some of them have told me I've given myself an eating disorder and that I wasn't being healthy, and many other remarks have made me doubt myself and somewhat eroded my self-confidence and motivation. I've come to the conclusion to go to my doctor's office and get a full 90-day hemoglobin exam. Smart dude. You got this, man. To get my full blood work done to see how healthy or how much damage I've done to myself. Do you think what I've done is slapdash? Do you think the blood work exam will show one side or the other was correct? Thanks, Simon. I hope you have a lovely day and great weekend, and hope nothing good things with the eye appointment, Jerry. Nah, dude, I get that. I used to go out with a girl that was like a hardcore bodybuilder, and she used to get that. Like, she used to get really lean for competitions. And everybody at her workplace, I lose, blah, blah, blah. So you just don't get it. And it'd be the same here. Look, I'm not saying that but when we're talking about eating disorders, there is multiple stages of eating disorders. I have an eating disorder, but I'm never going to say I have an eating disorder compared to someone that has anorexia. Do you know what I mean? But of course I have an eating disorder. If someone says, Miller, do you want to, I've said this in videos, Miller, do you want to have a Mars bar right now, 12:17 on a Monday? No, I can't eat a Mars bar. Saturday afternoon, I'll have a Mars bar because that's when I eat bad food. That's an eating disorder. But because we're aware of it and because it's not hurting my health because I'm eating a flub ton of calories elsewhere, it's all good, right? But my mind, I've guilted myself out essentially, but I don't care. It doesn't bother me, right? That's when eating disorders are a problem, when they're affecting you mentally and they're affecting you physically. You've been really smart and gone to a doctor. I massively push blood work all the time because you don't know what's going on. And now there's so many, like I try and get a test sort of once every couple of years because you can just go to these websites now and it costs a fortune, but what's more important than your health, right? And it's much easier than going to a doctor, especially at the moment. So that's a smart thing to do. You will not have done any kind of crazy damage since March, right? There may be some minor stuff, and if so, doctor will tell you what to do and you can get back on track, but I very, very much doubt it, right? I very, very much doubt it, and I don't want to insult your friends, so, take it with a pinch of salt, but my guess would be that they are just jealous of you, much like the wrestling thing we were talking about. It's their own insecurities being reflected back onto you because they're like, well, how the hell did he do this? And I want to lose weight, but I don't have the dedication. Then they feel bad. So they think, well, what I'll do is I won't address those issues myself and I'll put them onto you. That's not them being a bad friend. That's just them being a human being, right? So, no, I think you've done everything right. I think you should be damn proud of yourself. It's a crazy amount of weight to lose. Yeah, absolutely go to the doctor. Make sure you're 100%. And if you are, it's probably not something you can do It's not sustainable forever, but I'm sure you already know that, and then you can find a diet and a workout plan that works for you, including not eating Marbars on 12.19 on Monday. It's not true either. If I really wanted one, I'd just have one, and I'd beat myself up for the day. But the key is that I'm aware of it. Like, there's that amazing, it's not really a saying, but, you can't be an insane person if you know you're insane. Because if you're insane, you don't know you're insane. You think everything you're doing is normal, right? And I'm well aware of all my weird inconsistencies and stupid thing, idiosyncrasy. You know what I'm saying. I'm well aware of all of that stuff. And when you're aware of it, and also I like it, I'm happy with it. And I think that's completely different from someone that is suffering from anorexia, which is obviously one of the worst ones, if not the worst one, when they are desperate to try and find a way out of it, but they can't, and they're risking their life. Essentially, I knew someone with anorexia, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever seen in my entire 30 odd years on this planet. I was just like, I can't help this person, but luckily she found it, and now she's doing really well. But she still has lapses, because of course she does. It's like if you're an alcoholic, you have to be wary. If you're a gambler, you have to be wary. Just how it works. I think you've done well. I say good on you, man, and keep smashing it and keep me updated. I love all this stuff. I just find it's just cool that we're all going on these little journeys. My man Bifter says, I'm a dumbass and put this on the wrong thread originally. Dude, I've screwed up the threads by just pinging them around the place. We'll get back into a better routine. Just curious about your... This is the best question yet. Just curious about your opinion on fish and chips. Love it. Actually had it this weekend. Well, I had a variation of it for my cheat meal this weekend. I had a fish, like a fish burger or a fish wrap and chips. But it was still flipping awesome. I just added more carbs to it is what I did. Shepherd's pie. Yeah, I don't mind a shepherd's pie. There's shepherd's pie and there's cottage pie. One is beef, one is lamb. I prefer beef. I can't remember which is which. And a sticky toffee pudding, not one of my go-to desserts. If I'm out and I have one, I think it's okay. But I'm a cheesecake man. Cheesecake, brownies, ice cream, apple crumbles, a good one. So I don't mind sticky toffee pudding. But I mean, it's good when I have it, but it wouldn't be top of my list. And are Jelly Babies a really popular candy out there, or is that just a Doctor Who thing? No, Jelly Babies are popular, yeah. Maybe not as popular as they once were. They used to be advertised on TV all the time. But no, they're still, people still like Jelly Babies. And yes, I'm hungry right now. I can tell. Nothing wrong with that. Or a t-shirt yesterday that said hungry on it. Undead FB Goo, who always very nicely... I'm sorry I didn't get back to you yesterday, Undead. I was running around. I did see your tweet asking if I was all right. You're a very nice person. I appreciate it. And I hope the eye is healing. No, but, I can still see. Touch wood. I don't want to jinx anything. After my rant, it's been my last week with the husband before he goes back to work. On the one hand, I understand, but on the other, I want to kick and scream in his boss's office. Of course. I mean, that sums up life perfectly, I think. I have a big appointment next week that has to be done via video chat due to 2020's bug. Crazy, isn't it? I mean, who would predicted this? My mental health has taken a knock since my other appointment. I just don't feel adequate enough to be involved in my own healthcare, which sounds silly. But with a lot of long-term illnesses these days, there are transition periods where parents moving from child to adult services are guided. Because of this, I only recently stayed in the child service until I was 20, then dropped into an adult one with not much clue how to navigate it. I don't think that sounds silly at all. We've only just been assigned a mental health team to our service, which I understand is funding, but so many people with the complex heart issues I have also have mental health issues, of course. Luckily for me, my little team know me really well to find me another consultant I could trust, but she has already referred me to the mental health team. Just wish I could have the full support of my husband while all this takes place, but as always, we move forward even if we don't want to. Yeah, and that's why you get it, Undead, but I totally understand that. What you really want when these things happen is to just be wrapped up in a cotton ball and all the nice things to be around you. Like, I know my back injury is not the same thing, but when I woke up on the day and it hurt like hell, that's all I wanted. Ice cream and fun, right? So it makes perfect sense. And anything when it comes to your health is difficult, especially as you get older. Because I think as a kid, you kind of feel invincible. But then when you become an adult, you're like, oh no, now I've got to, not only do I have the responsibility of this, but again, stuff with your partner, finances, work, whatever, whatever it's going to be, all these things start to balance. And that's when you realize, again, another phrase that my mum used to say, which you never understand, that's the whole point of the phrase, is youth is wasted on the young. But it's meant to be wasted on the young because you're not meant to understand the cool scenario that you've got. So I don't think it sounds silly at all. I hope you can blast through Christmas and your husband can be back, and then 2021 in general can just be a better year. I mean, there's kind of no logic to that whatsoever. You keep seeing all these things on Twitter like 2021 is going to be better, and it's like, I don't think it works that way. It's just a number. But still, I hope that it is. On to AEW. Twitter seemed to have a mini meltdown. It wasn't a 10 out of 10 show, but I would say a 7.5. I found it weird they didn't make a big deal out of it being the anniversary show, but then again, they did all that for Jericho. I think that was the problem, actually. I think some people had latched onto the idea that it was the anniversary show, and they wanted the best thing ever. I thought it was all right. The only problems I have with AEW at the moment is I don't get FTR. I just don't get the stories. The matches are good, but I don't find myself investing, and I don't know why. And I also, like, the Big Swole versus Shida match was not the best thing ever, and it had sort of crappy bits in it. But overall, I sort of got a kick out of it. And man, the internet did not like that. You didn't watch it, Miller. Of course not. What do you think? Do you think I'm not going to watch a 10-minute match? Is it worth? I think of the risk. I can't be asked to watch 10 minutes of wrestling, even though that's all I do. I'll just make it up. It's crazy to me. I thought it was all right. Anyway, I go off. Sammy's jacket reminds me of when you got hand-me-downs from older kids in your family, and parents will be fine. You'll grow into it. Very true. Cody is the only person on the planet whose emo phase was actually an emo phase. Also true. Also, they had a village fate with a tombola. That I have to say was great in my opinion. See, I didn't get it, but I love. That's what I always say to everyone. I love the fact that you did. There's the whole point, right? It's a weekly television show. Some bits you'll like, some bits I like, some bits we won't like. Mox is the longest reigning champion. Good point. Although it hurts that he couldn't celebrate because Eddie was being Eddie. Darby has to be the one to take that TNT belt, surely. I think it all depends on what we're doing with Cody. If we're turning Cody into a bad guy, he's got to beat Darby Allin, but in, nefarious means. I think that will make it really... I really enjoy the Cody arc. He has now become public enemy number one for the crazy people on the internet, and I don't know why. Even if everything that they said was true, which it's not, he started a flipping competitor product to WWE. He can get away with murder as far as I'm concerned. So music, not done this in a while. I tell you, I'm talking about music. I tweeted about it. That Miley Cyrus cover of Zombie. Like, I know nothing about Miley Cyrus other than she was Hannah Montana, that she's the daughter of, I can't remember his name now, but the country singer. And that's it. That's all I know. And it's nothing against her. I know she had some crazy times because it entered the mainstream press. I'm not, because I don't want it to come across as, stupid Miley Cyrus, because I never judge anybody. Nobody gets success without some measure of talent. But that cover she did last night, oh my gosh, I was taken aback by it. I got emotional watching it. I mean, that song is brilliant anyway, but it doesn't mean that anybody can pull it off. So, yeah, fair play to her. Bring Me the Horizon have an EP coming out on 30th of October. Do they? How out of the loop am I when it comes to, Post-Human? This is why I need you, Undead. I miss all this stuff. I like Bring Me the Horizon. Shadow Moses, my favourite song of theirs. Check out a band called Landmarks. I know Landmarks. You've mentioned the V and how weird it is. I think I've only heard one song. I will get back onto them. They have a new song called Rainfall. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. Also, While She Sleeps are giving back to their fans by setting up a Patreon with different tiers, and they can be involved in an album. Suggestions, secret shows, and merch discounts. That's cool. I like While She Sleeps as well. Weren't they on Guitar Hero or Rock Band? I think that's where I first heard them. Personally, I think this is a good idea for bands at the moment due to them losing money. They made a big announcement and dropped a new song. Well, Undead. I'll make notes as soon as I'm done here, because honestly, I was listening to music maybe in the gym. I wasn't in the gym because I haven't been to the gym. I can't remember. I was somewhere. I thought I need new tunes. So this is perfect. I hope you're doing well, though, Undead, and thank you again for being a nice person. My man Nick, who I also need to get back in touch with. I'm amazed you're all still here. I'd be like, flub that guy, and I'd flip him off. Howdy, Simon. No question this week, but I have an interesting story. If there's one thing about being a delivery driver has taught me is that you must always expect the unexpected. I like this already, Nick. You're setting this up like a Charles Dickens novel. I've seen lots of strange things. Some I'd like to forget for my own well-being, but others like this instance when I delivered to an apartment and when the door opened, I immediately noticed the customer had WWE merch in his living room and a back wall, which included some Funko Pops and 4 replica championships, including the 2014 WWE title, the Raw Women's title, the new IC title, and the new US title. Well, he's doing well. Hope he gave you a big tip. I was absolutely blown away. Here's the sad part of the story. I never mentioned it to him. I get it, dude. That would have been hard. I wanted to, but for some reason I didn't, and I'm mad at myself because we could have had a lovely chat, but I felt like my work was more important. If I ever deliver to him again or anyone else with similar merch, I definitely won't make that mistake again. Have a great weekend, buddy. No, I get it. You kind of gotta pick your moments, but no, that's cool. I have one belt, which is the Winged Eagle, and that cost me a fortune. I remember I felt sick when I bought that. They are a lot of money, but no, I get it. But you got a relationship now. Maybe you'll go back. Maybe he'll deliver something else. And my man Matthew says, unrelated to everything, but I've got my first freelance design project underway since lockdown. Brighten my week up. Hopefully there will still be the start of many to come. Dude, what do you do? You may have told me before and I forget. Let me know, because I always need little projects. I'm not going to promise you anything. I don't go, but if you have something that I need and then I need it down the line, absolutely we should chat. So with AEW being 1 year old, taking everything into account, how do you think they've done? I think the glaring issue is the booking of the women's division. While we've seen the occasional banger of a match, it seems like, especially in the spring to summer months, we've had the same 4 or 5 people doing the same matches for no end goal. I agree with you. I think the pandemic hurt because a lot of the women they wanted to use was then trapped out of the country and they had to rethink, particularly Riho and Bea Priestley and some other ones. I think essentially the way I can sum this up is we've done, let's say, 52 AEW Dynamite ups and downs, and it's never got a down. And I stand by that. I don't think it makes me biased. I'd love somebody to show me the episode where they thought there was more. Well, it's not always about there being more bad bits than good bits. It's the overall feel when it finishes. And I can't remember one. The closest we probably got to it was the whole Dark Order thing. But I always liked the Dark Order because there was just something about Evil Uno that tickled me. So, maybe they got a little bit of a free pass there. But that's what fandom is, right? You can't pretend otherwise. But you go on to say, aside from that, they've genuinely done a brilliant job. And you've just taken the words out of my mouth. They've turned lesser-known independent named wrestlers into stars, like Orange Cassidy and Eddie Kingston, not messed around with non-finishes and poor booking, and have given us some pay-per-view main events worthy, like the Parking Lot Brawl and Moxley versus Allen. Slight nitpick, but I'd love to see Penta Phoenix and Sonny Kiss more involved, but I'm sure we'll see that soon. And yeah, it's only 1 year old, so... But you're right. I knew who Orange Cassidy was, because he was, gifable. But now I know him more, and I see him in a different light. Darby Allin, someone I knew nothing about. He's the man. Sonny Kiss is the same. There could be some other people that I'm not thinking about. I mean, I knew Kip Sabian a lot because over here in the UK, but it was still awesome to see him get his due. I mean, Luchasaurus, he's got a far bigger profile. Jungle Boy is probably another one. I didn't really know about Jungle Boy other than he was the son of Luke Perry. Now I see him as this really cool wrestler with a massive future. Griff Garrison. I love Griff Garrison. And these are the kind of things that I like in wrestling. I mean, are they appealing to outside of the wrestling bubble yet? No. But will they in the future? I would say there's a big chance. You just got to see what's going to happen. Another thing I'm absolutely loving at the moment is the Fiend and Alexa Bliss stuff on Raw. Having Alexa do the Blackout Attacks too has added another dimension to her character. I also think the random Lana versus Asuka match will be more of an angle, setting up Alexa versus Asuka at Hell in a Cell or Survivor Series. How do you see them booking this demonic power couple story? Dude, I have no idea. I can't believe they've done it. I didn't think they'd actually see this through, but like Raw Underground, it would die. I don't know whether you go into intergender matches. Well, not intergender matches. Mixed tags, I should say. WWE doesn't do intergender matches. I don't know whether they go on a tear and get some titles. I mean, there was some stuff over the weekend when Retribution kind of insinuated they were going to go after those two. That kind of works. They have Mia Yim in that group, so you could probably do something. They are basically faces now. I don't see anybody hating them. I think it'll be interesting, but I do think it's helped Alexa Bliss, and I do think it's given an extra side to Bray Wyatt. I don't know, but I do like it. I think it's fun. I think they know how goofy it is too, which is fine. You're allowed to do goofy stuff. Just, don't hold back with it. Be full on goofy, and they are. Matthew Duran offends me with his first question that says, "Hey Simon, have you ever watched the Bill and Ted movies?" Dude, I live for the Bill and Ted movies. Live for them. I can't wait for that third one. Is it out yet? No, it's not out. I know it's out in America. It'll be out over here now, and I've just let myself down. You'll be like, Miller, you're an idiot. This says it came out in September. That is not true. It probably is true, let's face it. What do I know? I get so wrapped up in other stuff. Well, if it is out, I don't want to go to the cinema at the moment. It feels a bit, Bill and Ted 3. This is a fun thing to do, isn't it? It did not come out the 16th of December September because I looked in September and nobody was showing it. So that cannot be correct. Anyway, it's irrelevant. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go see it. Obviously, I love it. I've let myself down hugely. They are so over the top and silly, and I was glad I got to see the new one before the cinemas closed, which despite the near 30-year gap, stayed true to the original with slapstick comedy and silliness. Now, I do love them, man. I thought it came out in October. I got it wrong, so I obviously don't love them as much as I thought, but yes, they're great movies. Keanu Reeves is one of my favourite actors ever because sometimes I don't think he's acting. I still enjoy his performances. I will jump on it as soon as I can. But it's good to hear that because I did see some mixed messages, and I don't want that. I want good things all around. And it's nice to see what's his name? I don't know the name of the actor. That's not true. I do, and then I forget it because again I haven't seen him in anything over the years other than this. Now I can't find. It's Bill something I think. No, it's not Bill. What's his name? What a stupid thing to say, Simon. I got to find out now because it would drive me absolutely nuts. Alex Winter. Thank you, Internet. What would I do without you? My man Jonathan says, obligatory well wishes on the eye situation. I hope we don't drive you insane about it. No, it's lovely that you even mention it. Your health is important to us. Get well and we'll give it a go done up. Hopefully soon. Been a while now with a dodgy eye. The Jericho MJF angle shows a meta concern for me in AEW booking. I like this already, John. I really enjoy AEW overall, and it's the only wrestling promotion I follow at the moment. But I feel that certain veneers in presentation need not overlap as freely as they do in the current delivery. What I mean is that there is a comedic or slapstick approach is fine, it can be very rewarding. A seriously delivery can really drive home a competitive line and is also very rewarding. One person doing both is difficult, but it can be done. But when they transition so quickly between the two, it seems that neither approach has time to sink in. The Jericho MJF Inner Circle thing feels that way for me, as does the FTR Best Friends thing. You take a mangler like MJF who armbars the captain because of an injury, then brutalizes the announcer into saying only what he wants one week, and the next he's overblowing a dinner date with Jericho. You take the most technical-minded student of old-school tag team wrestling and you have them double flinch for a weenies joke. It isn't that there is no room for these things, just a quick transition seems to do the delivery real harm. That was a ramble. Specifically on the Jericho MJF issue, I think and wonder if you agree that MJF is already working with one or more of the Inner Circle to oust Jericho in a probable face turn for him. I'm almost positive Sammy is working with MJF, with his jacket issue being an alibi and his vicious attacks on Matt Hardy being indicative of a similar attitude to MJF. I think also the stereotypical treatment of Proud and Powerful by MJF is a cover for possible collaboration there. Essentially, I think MJF already has the Inner Circle and Jericho is going to be beaten and humiliated when he finds out. That's my theory. Your thoughts? I apologize for being long-winded. You never have to apologize here, and I wish you a speedy recovery. Well, I agree with that booking entirely. Whether they'll go exactly that way, I'm not sure, but I think they should do that, and I hope that they do, because I think it will be awesome. I kind of think I agree with you this stuff beforehand because I really like everything that Jericho and MJF has done to this point. But the steak dinner thing, the skit, while I enjoyed it to a certain level, sort of halfway through I thought, I'm done. I felt like we could move on to something else now. And I think the steak dinner itself will be hilarious. But maybe that was my takeaway too. Because I enjoy both characters. I think Chris Jericho has turned himself into one of the greatest wrestlers ever. Even if you don't enjoy his stuff, it's become, you can't say that he's not. He's too important to the industry. And MJF has so much potential. It's almost crazy. So yeah, I think you actually make a good point. I don't know whether I mind the serious to comedy moving so quickly, but there is something within what you're saying. And again, I totally agree with your booking. If we don't do that, I think we've gone nuts. Because I just think it makes all the sense in the world. Jericho is primed for a face turn now. He's already a face turn. It establishes MJF in a bigger role than he already has. Same with everybody else in the Inner Circle. They can take and it's been going for a year. You know, you want to have some evolution. So, yeah, I think you're right. Matthew Duran says, I sent you a DM photo on Instagram of the silly Dreamcoats wall in my gym. I know you love tearing this stuff to shreds. Well, not only will I go look at that, I may borrow it for a future video I'm doing if you don't mind. I've been taking a bunch over the last few months and I intend to put them in all one big video. James A25 says, R.I.P. Ryan Smile. He was one of the reasons OTT wrestling took off like a rocket back 6 years ago. I myself have been dealing with mental health issues since I was young, just to talk to anyone, especially with this crazy year and if going through a bad time. Hope your eye gets better soon. I think we all agree you certainly deserve a bit of good luck, you brilliant bald asshole. Well, dude, as always, I hope you're doing all right. I didn't know Ryan Smile, which is why I haven't mentioned it. I sometimes feel... Some people disagree with me on this. I never want to feel like... I sometimes feel like when you tweet about those things, it feels like you're doing it for your own gain, right? And I don't do this stuff for retweets or likes. It's too serious, and that's kind of how I felt. And I always go with my gut. But look, I didn't know the guy. From all accounts, he sounds like... I know there was a little bit of controversy with him, but I don't know the story. But from people I know and trust, they all speak the world of him. And let's face it, mental health issues are... You don't want anyone to take their own life, ever. And I mean that. I'm not saying that Ryan Smile was, but even if you presented to me the world's worst person, I still wouldn't want that person to die because of mental health issues. It's something that we need to tackle more. It's something that, thankfully, in 2020, we can be more open about, but still not open enough because there is still a stigma around it. It's just one of those stories that you read and your heart sinks and you're just like, man, we still have such a long way to go. But James, I hope you're doing all right and thanks as always for the nice words. My man Simon says, hey, how are you, man? Seeing how your eye has been treating you, I'm thinking of starting a petition for WWE to book you and Ray versus yours and his eye in the main event of WrestleMania. The prize, the IWGP Tag Team titles. Simon, I will be stealing that at some point. This week was bad for my gym life. I had to skip both leg days due to college stuff and had a really bad cheat day yesterday. Time to start recouping today. Your legs exercise video was great. P.S. Lunch should die. Stay safe and kick that eye's ass. Thank you, man. I always appreciate saying that. I overthink my content way too much. Don't worry about you skip. I haven't been to the gym in 4 days because of my back. I mean, it kills me, so I understand. But your body will be all right. And I had a bad cheat day yesterday, mostly because I was pissed off that I couldn't go to the gym, which is illogical. I've done no exercise, and therefore I'll eat even more crap. Again, you know this. You don't need me to tell you. It's moderation. It's balance. It's about getting back on the horse, which you've already said. In a week's time, you won't even be thinking about it. So, and you'll probably have a really killer leg day next time you go because you'll be aware of all of this. I mean, I'm excited about doing lunges now just because I know I can't do them. But I actually think I'm probably going to have to take a couple more days. It's still giving me grief. But I haven't been injured in a while, so, it happens. My man Baz says, hey, Simon, I hope you're coping with life as a Rey Mysterio cosplayer, and it won't go on much longer. Looking forward to the PS5 and love the UI that was just released in the video. I'll give you a review on launch week if my pre-order doesn't screw up. Are you a fan of everything you've seen so far next gen? I look forward to Sackboy, oddly enough. It looks silly and fun. I like everything. I think the Xbox Series, what's it called? Yeah, Xbox Series S is what excites me the most because I think it's a real step forward for what video games I want them to be. I like the Netflix model or the Apple Music model. I know a lot of people don't. They like physical media. I just don't. I've moved past it. I'm not saying that what they're presenting is perfect because there is a huge question mark over ownership, which I totally understand. But I like the idea, so that's why it really gets me excited. But the PS5 looks great. Whatever Nintendo puts out is great. To me, it's all about the games, and they're coming aplenty. So yeah, I think it'll be pretty good. I thought the PS5 UI looked a bit like the PS3, but still, some of the stuff it does is amazing. I'm trying to get my fitness back on and was doing well with the gym, and boom, Manchester enters lockdown again. Of course, dude, you're up there. Are you feeling nervous that something similar might happen to your area and you'll have to go back to home workouts, or do you feel okay about it and like you have a better idea how to manage it going forward? No, I could dread it. Well, actually, what going back to the gym taught me is that my workouts at home sucked. Absolutely sucked. Not because I wanted them to suck, just because I'm not very good at training at home. But look, this is the world that we're living in. You can't worry about that stuff. I could get hit by a bus later today, and why was I worrying about the gym? But I do feel for you, man. I know how hard it is, but just do what you can, right? That's the situation where we do what we can. They'll open again, and you can always balance out. But no, you do have my sympathy. When it comes to your diet, what is your biggest weakness? Mine is biscuits, and honestly, I need to go cold turkey as there's the one food I just can't have a little bit of. Do you have any food like that, man? All the foods? Like biscuits would be one, ice cream. Any kind of cake, pizza, nachos, crisps and dip I'll put up there. You give me crisps and dip, I go through 10 bags. But I'm like you, I just don't have it in the house. Cereal too. I would say ice cream, cereal, and crisps and dip, and biscuits. They're my big four. You have them in the house and I can just wreck them. It's terrible. You see all these people doing, 10,000 calorie challenge. I'm like, some days I could do that without even blinking, which is not healthy, by the way. The feeling on AEW this week seemed a little low, and even my partner felt that way. It was a bit of a letdown. Sometimes I feel like I'm a shill because I always enjoy it, but I can see the flaws here and there. But they don't diminish how I actually enjoy the overall experience. Good. Is this how you feel about it? As I'm usually in agreement with most of what you say on ups and downs. Yeah, like, you got to be... some people go, you biased. But no, you have to be... what's the word? You have to be transparent and honest, but you have to be balanced, right? You got to weigh it up. And really, if you go through the anniversary show, was anything on it really bad? Like, personally, the FTR match, wasn't a good match, but I didn't get into it. Chris Jericho MJF segment felt to me like a little bit off. Were they bad? No. Were they stupid? No. Were they nonsensical? No. So you can't get too mad at it. It wasn't bombastic enough. But I don't think that's a problem. It would be a problem if this was a 10-series venture, right? Like Lucha Underground used to be. But when it's 52 weeks a year and non-stop, you're actually allowed to have bad episodes because that's the law of averages. Nobody is going to be able to have a 100% success rate. And if you think that, not you, but I mean people in general, your expectations are well off. I'm going to be totally different to the majority online here, but I really like Luther. The dude always stays in character even when he is just in the crowd, and the screaming count faster the first time he did that on Dark, I cried laughing. I don't know what it is, but I really wish folk were more supportive of him, as I think he is a decent character and seems from interviews to be such a nice guy. It's just nepotism, or not nepotism, but people think he's mates with Chris Jericho. Who flipping cares? He's had an awesome career by the sounds of it. Now he's got a great opportunity. why would you be mad at it? So I agree with you. With that in mind, what is your one opinion that you have that is controversial? Mine is a big one. I enjoy Adam Sandler movies. I know they are mostly bad, but I find it hard to hate on the guy as he makes films he likes and doesn't give a flub what critics thinks of him. He always hires his friends and just seems like a nice guy. It's because of all of this I enjoy watching him on screen. Well, I guess mine is Leslie Nielsen. I know Leslie Nielsen has a lot of good movies, but I can watch him in anything. Like Wrongfully Accused, Spy Hard, Scary Movie, like 72,000. They're bad movies, some of those, but he just makes me laugh, and it's because I love him, so I totally get it. Anyways, enough of my nonsense. Enjoy. Looking forward to our podcast soon. Yep, we've got to get that done. Have a phenomenal day and keep kicking us and making our days cheerful. Bears, I will always do my best. Dan says, since it's October and everyone's playing horror games, what's your favourite? For me, it's Outlast. It's a great jump scare game. Way too scary. Mine's probably Until Dawn, because I like the scares are fun. When the scares are fun, I feel all right. Tyler, my man, this week's Raw was a lot of fun. Sorry, this week was a lot of fun. Raw was probably the absolute worst it has been. No, Ali, no explanations of everything. We aren't idiots. But oh well, that's WWE. AEW was awesome. My girlfriend has been watching it for the past few weeks and she is enjoying it. Her favourites have been Darby and of course Luchasaurus. She also thinks Mox is a badass. I don't blame her. I love watching the show with her. It makes me very happy to share my favourite thing. I like that a lot. I'm very intrigued that Kingston is still going after Mox. Will he eventually hold that belt? Who challenges Cody next? And when will the Bucks be back in the ring? No, I think Kingston loses. I think it's a transition feud because they need someone for the pay-per-view and they want to build to this Omega thing, but they don't want to do it then. But it makes sense because, you know, those guys will have a great match, but I don't think Kingston will win. Cody, if I'm right, will beat Darby Allin, probably, like I say, in some kind of controversial circumstances, and then probably have a match with Jungle Boy. And Jungle Boy will either win or he'll get screwed over too, and then we'll get Cody's true feelings, is my guess. And when will the Bucks be back in the ring? Well, they've got the number one contender match next week, so I think they'll win. And I think we'll probably do the Bucks versus FTR at the pay-per-view and just get it done, because that's what I would do. Everybody wants to see it. I think the build's been long enough. To me, we're just kind of not doing it for the sake of not doing it. I've been feeling really good in the gym lately. Muscles have been looking full and thick, which is my favourite thing. What are you training today? What did you train yesterday? And what have you eaten so far today? That's all I've got for you now. Hope you're well. Well, I didn't train yesterday because of my back. I won't be training today, I don't think. I may go and try and do a light session. I'll probably do push because I don't do back stuff. Not overly confident. And what have I eaten today? I've only had one meal today, which was rice porridge, eggs, not all in one. Rice porridge, stop. But a rice porridge with blueberries in, stop. And then eggs, chicken sausages, and an avocado, half an avocado. Again, because I'm not training, I'm not eating as much as I usually do, trying to balance it out. So, yeah, I want to get back. Hate it when I can't. Matthew Duran says, Simon, not so much a question, but a request. Go onto the network back to 1993 and watch the second episode of Raw and see what happens as they are introducing the commentators at the start. You will get a kick out of it. I think I know what this is, but I will wait all the same. And my man Ryan says, on Thursday this thread was uploaded and I've made a decision to make fun of your eye. Thanks, man. Later that day, I found out I was losing my job. Oh my gosh, dude. COVID-19 and karma are both bitches. Have 3 interviews this week, the first of which is today, so wish me luck. Oh no, dude, no. That's not karma, man. You're allowed to take the piss out of my eye. It's funny. I spent weeks ripping on Rey Mysterio's eye and then hurt my eye. That sucks, man. I really hope you're doing all right. I don't know what your job is, but I hope there is, opportunities aplenty and awesome work getting 3 interviews that fast. Hopefully on next week's Q&A you can give me an update. But I'll keep everything crossed for you, man. That's the last thing we need at the moment, or ever, but especially at the moment. And to finish off, my man Dan says, hey Simon, it's been interesting to get back to a barbell. I find that I have a really hard time doing heavy sets of 10 squats or deadlifts with a mask. You and me both, man. Sucks. But I get it too. I'm not mad. The mask slipped down on Saturday on rep 7 when I thought I was at failure. Then being able to breathe through my nose, I got to 10 no problem. It's the world we live in, dude. Haven't watched much wrestling the past few weeks. Really bummed I'll be missing AEW's upcoming tournament. But I think having the old episodes... I think old episodes go up on their pay-per-view network for free eventually. Yeah, I think they do, so you'll be able to catch up. I've been enjoying Ups and Downs and your Should You Listen to Them series. Thanks, man. I think it's my favourite content, that and your poor push-up form challenge. Man, that went over everybody's head. Who cares? It's been wild to see all the wrestlers testing positive for COVID after the collective, but I'm glad they're getting tested and self-isolating. It's pretty crazy. A lot of people at my wrestling gym have tested negative, but it certainly is a high-risk activity. Could you say yourself starting back up training in the ring anytime soon? Is it even close to possible? No. I know one school is doing it, but it's socially distanced training, so it's all rolls and running the ropes, which I would like to do, but it's not what you want. I don't think there's going to be any resting over here apart from the big companies until next year. And then even then, who even knows? So no, it's nowhere near. But I would love going to a wrestling training session right now. It would make me so, well, not right now because of my back, but on my eye. Well, actually, I can't do anything until my eye is fixed. They've told me to keep everything away from my eye. Like, it's so serious. Like, do not get anything in that eye. Nothing. So even though it's socially distanced, like, you being active, you never know. So I actually can't train that. 2020 sucks, but the answer is no. Also, a challenge for you. The 5-minute headstand challenge. It feels like it should be easy, but it kind of sneaks up on you. Not for me. I can't do a headstand for 2 seconds. I have no balance. I'm an absolute buffoon. So while I do appreciate you giving me the idea, the video would be 8 seconds long. So maybe quite funny. Maybe an Instagram story. We'll think about it. Have a great week. Glad there's so many plates to balance. May those opportunities keep coming. Well, that's very nice, Dan. I appreciate that. And I hope you're doing well as well. Right, on that note, that is all the questions. Thank you so much for following me and doing all the stuff that you do. Going to put the thread up tomorrow so I don't spam everyone. And then this Friday, we'll actually get back into a routine. Because I like my routine too. I think it works. And I think it's nice having a chat on a Friday. So we'll do that. Content throughout the week as well. I hope so. I've actually ran out now. So most of what you've already seen is stuff I already had in the tank. Most of it. So I need to start recording again today. But again, my back is bad. My eye is bad. And sometimes I can't actually look at screens. So it's hard for me to edit. But I will get as much done as I can. I hope you understand. Definitely do a podcast on Wednesday because that seemed to go down quite well and it worked. We can always change it back to Tuesday if you prefer. Maybe I will do one tomorrow, It all depends on what goes down. Either way, thank you so much as always for joining me. Thank you for staying on board. I know it's a hard time for everybody, but you helped me out so much. Otherwise, I'm going to sort out all the rewards today. I'm a little bit behind, so they'll be going in the post tomorrow. So by the end of the... No, let's give it 2 weeks, given the world. Give it 2 weeks. If you haven't got it, drop me a line, and we'll sort that out. But otherwise, again, thank you so much. Appreciate it massively. Have good Mondays. Have good weeks, and I'll talk to you soon.